Welcome to Give Me a Clue about CueGroups. Hey, I'm Eric, and one of the few ways we have out of the box to do visualizations are called a cue, and cue is those cute little boxes you see on a roll center. Numbers in them and like how many orders, how much, something. They're called cues, and you use a control mechanism called a cue group to actually display them. I thought I'll do a video on how to actually use them. Just so we are on the same page here. You see what you see here. All these are cues. So we have like a banner style with some wider layout and bigger numbers, and we have boxes that are grouped differently, and we also have a weird one here, which is one without a number and not very nicely formatted, but that's a different story. And if I go into let's go onto a customer card, I think we can also find them if we open the fact box area. We get cues here. So there are different ways with these on use, but how do we actually create them? Let me show you. So I'll create a new, I have created a new fresh app here with the usual ALGO. Type in my server name and download the symbols. So I'll create a new page, and I'll call this for Q test. And let's just make a card right now. And we'll take a table, so source table, let's just use the customer. That's probably fine. We go to layout, we tell that the area on the page that we want to do stuff is on the content part. The other option is fact boxes in the side. We'll just play with content. So inside content, we can create a cue group. So let me create a cue group, G1, just need a name. And here, what we can do is we can say field. So we just add a field, and I'll grab balance. Application area, because we always need that. And we can grab another one. How about balance due? Application area, and we can do another one now that we are on the sales. LCY. Application. Wow, application area. And for some reason Microsoft refuses to when they're adding fields from the IntelliSense, they refuse to prefix it with reg, so we have to do that manually. I don't know why. Anyway, so we inserted 3 fields on a page, just like we would add 3 fields on any page. So let's deploy this. Here we go, has been deployed. And boom, we got 3 boxes. Not very nicely rendered though. Clearly, you don't want to put big numbers into a queue. You can see we get the G1 up here, so we can add a nice, wow, a nice caption here. Hit that, and that will then actually add the caption up here. When we click on one of these, we are treated with the same default behavior as if we took this flow field, put on the screen. that when you click on the flow field, it will take you to the entries that makes up the flow field. So that is very, very nice. What we can do, let me show one thing. So we can also add a kind of an indicator. So you would think that you could say style and say this is favorable. If I run this, so we hard code that it's always nice weather. It doesn't make any changes. Remember the green bars we had. But if we do it with the style expression, favorable, there we go. So we've used the style expression property instead. We will get that this is in green, and if we say that this is unfavorable, then come on, there we go. Then we get, I don't even know what color this is, but that's apparently the bad color. So when it comes to cues, we have two types of data. So let's try something else here. So let's add another field here. Wow, if not fuel, and we'll add field. We'll add the name field. We'll even put reg on it because we are, following all the rules. So now we added a text field into Cue. Which kind of works, but it displays 0. So what happens if we put in a, let's use something else. How about last date modified? So now we'll put a date in there. We also get a 0. So that is because there's only 2 data types that actually renders. And one is decimals, as we just tried a bunch of, and the other one are integers. So do we have anything that's actually an integer? Number of invoices. How about that? No, actually, let me do something else. I want to do something else. Let me do this. Number integer. Let's use this one instead. And then we can control the content. So we'll add number here, and we'll add a caption saying number. How about that? Okay. So let's run this. So now we're getting the same thing we got when we added the data types that didn't make any sense. So we got a number, but now 0 is actually correctly because we have never assigned a value to numbers. We also get a nice little, an icon next to it because now we're an integer, and integers deserves an icon. Decimals do not. Anyway, let's try to add a value here. Well, let's actually do on open page and say, how about number equal 1? Number equal 1. So remember here, and this is the one from before. So we got a nice white or whatever color that is, and number 0, and now we got a 1. But now the icon changed, so it's rendered in black. And if we go to 99 here, deploy that, I don't think it's going to draw 99 pages, but it will suddenly be 3D-ish and I don't know how many there is. Maybe there's 3. So, what if let me actually. What if we have a negative number? What icon will it show on a negative number? Hang on. That's the same icon as 1. Isn't that weird? So 0 is the without color, 1 is the filled out one, 99 is the multiple ones, and a negative number is the same icon as 1. That's kind of weird. But hey. Anyway, we can see that this is gray, so we can't click on anything, and the reason for that is, of course, when we clicked on a flow field, Business Central knows what's behind the flow field, but what's behind the number? Well, we can put something behind the number. So we have the option of saying, well, on drill down, we can do some code. So we can do code here. So let's deploy this again. And see, now this is green. So it was gray before, now it's green, and if I click, code is executed. So pretty nice. But clearly this one are rendered in some form. But what if we took this now, and because we're just rendering on a page right now, but what if we turn this into a card part? Let's run it again. See, so now we're just running a card part, which I guess you technically should not do, but apart from spacing is different, it's pretty much the same. So we could now try to take our little thing. We'll create a new file here, and we'll create a page extension object. Oh, now I broke Business Central. I'm pretty sure I broke it. This always happens. I create a file, I start typing, and then I do Control Space, and it breaks. See, keeps breaking. Well, let's see if we can kill it and come back up. Page extension. Page extension. Role center extends business. And now it's broken again. This is weird. So let's see if we can carry on without this, because so here is my hope, dear people from Microsoft, that I get this all the time. You guys say this never happens, you cannot replicate it. This is in several videos at this point. I don't know how to communicate this in otherwise. Business Manager Role Center, I think it's called. Let's see if we can compile it. We can. So let's go and say layout here and add first role center. I'm doing this blindly, and then we're gonna do the what did I call it? I call it Q test. application area equal all, and we need a parenthesis on this one, and let's deploy this baby. So now we see that this is how it's rendered here, but if we go back to the role center where this is now has been inserted, we can see that now they're rendered better, more, whatever. I don't know the unit we want to use here, but clearly now we can show big numbers, and the captions are rendered nicely on the top and so on. So again, we're just suggesting to the rendering engine how to do this, and we got all the good stuff. Even though we're not supposed to execute code on a role center, it works. Okay, so the last thing, let's see if we can get VS Code to play nicely with us, is this guy, where it's this clearly this is an action. And actually I'm gonna totally, oh, there was something happened here. There's a bug. No timesheets available. Oh, not a bug. There was an error. Sorry. Let's kill VS Code one last time. Take a deep breath. Open it up again and see if it will behave now. Let it load. Let it do its thing. And now it tells me that there's already one of these objects in my project. So it's weird. I kill it, but I don't kill it, and it's still weird. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter. We can actually, let's kill this. We'll just keep this for a second. So let's go back to Q. So what inside a CueGroup, what we also could do here, see, it works now, is that sometimes we are allowed to add actions inside CueGroup, but you cannot mix field and actions in a CueGroup. So if we create a new CueGroup here, group 2, even more actions, we can add a actions section in here, and in this we can say action hello world, caption equal hello world, and if we do application area, of course, because that's how it goes, and if we do image here, we get if our dear friend the intelligence will work, it will. You see, we get a whole different set of images that we normally do. They all start with tile camera, tile cloud, tile currency, tiles of different colors, tile help, tile info. So what about customer? Tile brick customer, and then we can do a trigger on action, begin, message, hello world. There we go. So now we created an action inside a CueGroup. You cannot, if you add an action up here, added actions, you can do it. You see, you can add actions, no problem up here. We can just go and do hello world 2 and do tile orange. So now we added actions inside our group, and we added in its own group. Let me show you how it renders now. So we got the one in its own group. The other one simply doesn't render. It does not yell at you in any way. Well, I know the compiler is doing crazy stuff right now for me, but this is valid code, but it never renders. So that's kind of weird. But so if you want to use the actions, you have to put them in a group by themselves. So let me remove this guy up here and put it into the action group and render that. And now we have the two actions here. And if we go back to the role center, you can see they're rendered totally different on the role center. So, but you can execute code on the role center with them, or nonetheless. This is probably a good spot to stop before I break even more stuff. Anyway, those are cues, and it's a very nice visual cues to kind of tell your users what goes on, to inform them of certain things, and you can use the style expression to, bring attention to numbers that need attention, and so on. So I have begun to use them more and more in our solutions, and in the right spot. Usually, you gotta, how to put this? If you emulate what Microsoft are doing, if you emulate, like in a fact box and on the role centers, they render nicely. If you put them elsewhere, your mileage may vary on how they render, as you can see. So let me know how it goes. Let me know in the comments below how you're using cues, if you're using cues, or why you're not using them. And until next time, have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. But if you're missing something, hey, that video, it's a good